is the Diary of a Lady Band Director podcast, brought to you by the Passion Is Network. Evening, Jerome, you made it. You made it. And we got Tyree and we got some other folk. Everybody busy. I know this is prime time for y'all. It's mass band, all-star band season. And I know that's where the money is trying to be made, or at least getting your name out there if it's not already out there. So first of all, gentlemen, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on the show. You might have to unmute yourself.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I gotta add the disclaimer.
Sorry about
that. It's called Off the Cuff. This is not your grandma's soap opera show. This is not clean. It's rough. It's dirty. If you cuss, I cuss. So this is unedited, unfiltered, unapologetically raw. And gonna start with some questions. I got a pet peeve. And this is my pet peeve question, and hopefully you got a pet peeve because this y'all show too. You know, I don't feel like y'all get enough love. Y'all always the people putting out the content, but nobody ever care about the people putting out the content. So my pet peeve question for today, for you, what is your pet peeve when it comes to anything band media? I'm gonna say mine for last.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Everybody. I really only have one pet peeve when it comes to band media. It's rude camera people, and people need to learn how to shoot together. Case in point, I know Brother Tyree will agree with me. I came up to Trotwood, Ohio, to shoot the Battle of the Bands out there. And it wasn't a bad thing. It's just that Tyree, I, and the other guy, we didn't even have to like tell each other. Like we was able to learn how to make eye contact with each other when we're shooting and understand where we are, not jumping in each other's shots and things like that. Because that's the pet peeve. Band media people that jump in your shot the whole time. And I didn't get that when I went out to Trotwood. And I know Tyree has experienced it before, but that's one of my bigger pet peeves when shooting.
Get the hell out the shot. Get out the way.
Basically.
Is there a certain location where you feel like it's the most egregious? Like, is it somewhere where if you know you're going to this landscape, you know it's about to be getting on your damn nerves?
Well, it's for me, the summer band setting makes it kind of rough because everybody's trying to get. So you have all these people with passes that are down in the front, and the media people are trying to get around. So they have to step in, and sometimes it's unintentional. They have to step in front of other people to get out of the way of the people with all of the media passes or who jumped in down on the field and stuff like that. You know, there's never any like issues with like people getting out of the way, but security is more tight in football games. And so you have fewer problems with stuff like that.
So and I can understand this from a band director perspective, like security, they tend to stick near like where people are going to be the most crowded. Like they're going to stick near the band because they want to make sure that nobody trying to do nothing, especially near the dancers. I always appreciate that because, you know, motherfuckers lose their mind sometimes when they see ladies in outfits. Trust me, I from the other end of the spectrum, sometimes we like they get off, like get away. Ew.
Yeah, exactly. Lame. Yeah, some people are just creepy like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
you have to
creepy.
deal with that.
I always figured that fans in places where it's not like a culture, like football games, we kind of understand the culture of where to stand, where not to stand. You know, don't be all up on the band. You know, you can't be all up in the band's ranks. But when it comes like parades are ugly. To me, parades are ugly as hell because people just, you know, sometimes people drinking. Not saying they don't be drinking at games, but man, that parade scene, y'all can have it. I ain't for it. I've given up on the parade scene. It's not my cup. It drive my blood pressure up. My hair already white. I'm not trying to look
That's
already
funny.
really crazy. I just know that like as a woman in the game, that's just a place where my blood pressure go all the way through the roof. So I can't be. It's just not for me. And I had an all-girl band, so that was really tough.
Wow.
That was really tough from every angle. Yeah. So get the hell out of the shot. And I agree. I feel like people don't always understand that they're in the way of work. Like they be feeling like they're entitled to be somewhere. I don't know. I feel that. What about you, Tyree?
I would say like a pet peeve of mine is standing in front of the off-camera microphone. Because sometimes people be having full-blown conversations in front of the mic. So when you're trying to edit it, sometimes you got the whole conversation. You try to edit it out, but you can't edit it out. You just go hear people talking for most of the time. That's like a pet peeve of mine, for real, for real. But just like Jerome was saying, like sometimes people get in the way. Sometimes people don't do it intentionally. But you know, just have that good communication. You know, give the shots and all of that.
Yeah, I'll be like, shut up. Like, shut up. They talking to their mama on the phone. They talk about what time they got to pick up their baby from daycare. Like, shut
Bruh.
up.
Bruh. Having a whole fucking conversation right here. You see 8 cameras right here in the middle,
mic.
and you choose to have a conversation by 8 cameras. 8 cameras. I'd be like, man, move. We've had to tell them to move quite a few times. Hey, look, microphone. Shut up.
Anybody ever try to clap back? Anybody try to bring that smoke?
I've never had that problem.
No.
And knowing who we are in the brotherhood of videographers, you know, because we all know each other, you know, and we look out for each other. And then, you know, with the people that are typically around us, I don't think we'll ever have a problem with it.
Right. I don't know. Listen, don't come to Baltimore, man.
Oh, really?
There in the screen. These niggas, wow.
They be wilding out there. Oh man, I want to come out there.
They don't have. Well, if you come, like, spend about a day, like, just with the people, like, just roaming around the city, like, and I ain't talking like the harbor where it's like people or tourists go. Like, you just need to know who you dealing with because they don't respect shit. They don't respect shit. Babies, old people, nobody. Everybody is just. Everybody is on some old fuck this shit. It's what it is. So if you come up here, just be prepared for a different climate of a person. You know, I always say we not the South, but Baltimore's like its own planet. Like you can go.
Hear like,
but it's its own planet. I'm not from Baltimore originally, so getting used to being up here, like the people can be interesting. Like grandparents will cuss you out for looking at them. Like they be like, "What the fuck you looking at?" Like, I'm filming the band. Can you not film the band by me? Like, damn, grandma, did you forget your lighter cane? Like, you need some.
That's funny.
They wow. So if you come up here, just know that there's a reason why we don't get a lot of visitors. I mean, we scared like a president away. You know, y'all notice Trump, he was supposed to campaign. He made a beeline. He was like, nah, I ain't coming up here.
Wow.
So your pet peeves. Here's my pet peeve, and I'm not even BandMedia, but this is my pet peeve. Okay. My pet peeve is sometimes the invasiveness of like people recording, and that's just real. Like I've seen people who just like, and this isn't really even band media. I think it's like, I call it band media wannabes. People who think they band media, but they don't really know what the hell they doing. And they just get in the way. And it's not fans in the ways like they think that they are doing you a favor by recording, but you like the drum major got that mace. Like you just like too close. You too close. You too close. You too close. You literally in my nostrils. And they can't effectively now like move because you so in the way. Which we're gonna bring this question up a little bit. But I'm gonna ask you, Jenna, what made y'all get into band media? Hey Malik, you moved over like the.
What's up, Malik?
Right back. I can't.
What up?
He got his microphone muted.
You got
ask the question again.
So what made you get into this? Because this is fairly, I don't want to say new. I've seen band media. I'm old. Don't try to guess how old I am. I'm old enough to remember when people had the chicken circuit for band tapes. I'm from that generation. Like they come to your dorm, everybody come to your dorm and watch band tapes. So I've seen it transition to what it is now. So how'd you get into it?
Curry, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
I got into band media even when I was like in high school and stuff. I used to like my dad used to record our performances and all that. I've been doing like photography and all that since I was like a little kid, and doing when YouTube first came out, you know, walking around with the camera, using Windows Movie Maker and all that type of stuff. But when I really got into band media is when I moved to Memphis, and I was teaching down there. I was teaching middle school, and a lot of the middle school band programs wasn't getting a lot of coverage. So I went to Best Buy, got me a little camera, and I started going to like the different middle school band events and recording them. So like the middle school kids, they be on it. They'll watch the video all day and all that. So yeah. So when I was teaching in Memphis, covering the middle school bands, high school bands as well. So and I just like, you know what I'm saying, I've been doing bands since I was 4th grade, you know. I love band, that's what I like doing. So even when I'm teaching, like say if I have my band, they're performing, I got my camera out, I got running from directing the song, switching the camera and all that type of stuff. So yeah.
That's right, because you teach, like I've tried to record my own, but as a matter of fact, anything that I've ever recorded, any footage of my band is me recorded, specifically because there ain't no band media this far up north, not for real. And then, you know, like if you a public school teacher, you ain't got no damn band media budget. Like we'll get into that in a second. Like I ain't got no money, and I don't want to ask people to record for free. Like, you know, this ain't chicken dinner. Like I can feed you like Popeyes, and you can't live off of Popeyes and not healthily. So I've never understood how people who teach can do it, because I don't think I can effectively do it. Like it becomes its own. I've had students do it, and sometimes they do an okay job, and sometimes that shit fucked up.
You tried to go try again.
Yeah, because they talking like, you know, they teenagers, they talking to their friend on the video. Like I got one, the best footage I ever had of my kids. A kid is talking, a mother. I'm gonna say it like a Baltimorean, a mother. A mother is talking the entire fucking recording.
Wow.
She's singing. And I'm like, ma'am, she got the church vibrato and everything. She's just in. It's almost useless, but it was such a good like moment. And the band actually sound good. I was like, damn, what do I do with this? I guess they just gonna get this church vibrato there. I ain't got that much editing skills. I'm a little techie, but not that much. So you did it the way that, like, I think a lot of people, somebody, you know, there's a need and you get into it, and then it becomes something that you just do. What about you, Jerome?
Hold on, let me share this to BandHead Network real quick so I can get the people in here. Give me a quick second.
Bet. Get the people in here.
All right, my bad. I was trying to do it before, but good. Okay, so with me, I crabbed in '96. Um, and so I went to Southern for a few years, and then after that, I went to start a family, and I was a dad until 2011. 2011, I saw Southern versus Texas Southern in Houston, Texas, known as the Merc City Classic, and I immediately fell back in love with bands. You know what I'm saying? So I was out of the game for a hot little minute, and then I was like, I want people to experience bands how I experience it. I want to give them the experience that I have while I'm here at the stadium. So, no way have I achieved the perfect sound, but that's been my goal, to try to achieve the perfect sound to give people that full ambiance that they get when show bands are at their best. So I met Tyrone McCullum at 8 to 5 Entertainment. He went to South Carolina State.
Mhm.
And then I started working with him for a little bit, recording for him, different things like that. I started out with cell phones. And I know Justin probably remember this. I had like 3 or 4 iPhones and an iPad.
I was gonna say you on that iPhone daddy.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I'm getting a little traffic on my little YouTube channel. So somebody had reached out to me and got me to do step shows. So I got into the step show game and I made money. And I used the money from that, because I couldn't touch the family's money. I used money from that to buy video cameras. And then I was like, okay, I'm pretty good with video cameras. I had handy cams. And then after that, I was like, I really need to step my game up. So I'll be looking at Garrett, I'll be looking at Justin, Kevin, Garrod, all of them. And they have these, mirrorless cameras, things like that with the lenses, where you can do all this funky stuff. And I was like, man, you know what? I need to step my game up. So I jumped into that. And so I said, let me take this equipment and try to see what I can do to give everybody more than just a one view experience. And let me try to start throwing multiple angles at people, trying to perfect that. And then I was like, well, let me give it to them live if I can. And that's how BandHead Network really came about, because I was always interested in giving people multi-angle live view of what was going on at the games, the battle of the bands and stuff like that, for alumni that couldn't make it to the game, things like that, giving them the total game experience. So that's what brought me to where I am today.
Something I always appreciate is and I'm gonna say I started to appreciate it as I watched like band media develop, was the use of angles. Because for a while, I should have said this with my pet peeve. Damn shit. All right, bet. Pet peeve number next. I'm gonna just keep them rolling because y'all gonna make me think of more. Is when people only shoot the band one way, and I call it the crotch shot. Like, wait, yeah, listen, this where I don't want to see. And as a woman, I look at it, I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna get my crotch the entire damn time. And you're gonna get like move around, move to the side, or where you too damn close and the audio is distorted. See, I'm techie just enough to be like, that's gonna sound like I don't want to hear trombone one. Like that's all you hear the whole shot, and that's a whole sound pet peeve. But just too damn close, one shot, one angle. You don't have good equipment, so you're not filtering any of that out. There's no room for decay. It's just ugly. So I hate those shots. If you just came in, Justin over there smashing. Justin is a resident. Justin is a resident. Now
I can't remember shit, Krystal. You gotta let me get it going. Okay.
Justin know, we'll be here for a while. Let me go ahead and give me some dinner. So Justin, you've been with us. Malik, you new to us. Malik, how'd you get started in this game?
Yeah, so can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you.
Really?
All right, so thank you. So like back in 1999, when I was a freshman in high school, I started becoming like a tape collector. I would go to sites like Battle of the Bands, blankcollegebands.com, MarchingSport in its infancy, and then just touch in with people and get their tapes. And then in the Christmas of 2000, I was like, I kind of want to go out there and get with it. So my parents gifted me this this Panasonic camcorder, and so that was Christmas 2000. So 2001, I had that with me everywhere, and it kind of paid to have that with me because my senior year, fall 2002 to 2003, that was Morris Brown's last home season. So, you know, I'm this high school kid up in there with the cam, you know, just documenting like all the matchups from that last year. And then, you know, we didn't know it at the time, but, you know, this is stuff that you can't go Morris Brown to see right now. But I'm pretty sure like pretty soon, you know, we'll be able to see them. But I got back in the game. I took a little break from 2009 to 2019. I came back 2019 and, you know, just been kind of with it ever since, just recording everything that's going on in Atlanta and the surrounding areas. And any type of colleges in the area, I'm usually at that game too. But for the most part, you know, just trying to catch everything just document everything that's going on in the city nowadays. So that's pretty much why I'm here.
So what's crazy is like there was this boom or this explosion to me of band media. And I always look at it like it wasn't so much when I was in school. Like you were a freshman in 99. I was a freshman in college in 1999. That tells you how old I am. Don't y'all do no goddamn math. Shut the fuck up, Preston. I see your eyes. Your eyes are talking. I know how old I am.
I was born in the 90s, so I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah.
Woo! My goodness.
David, don't you dare. You stay back there, David. I'll be fucking up with David. David is my little brother that I like to cuss out. So for one, it almost seemed like band media like just came out of nowhere. Like much like what you talk about, Malik. It was like tapes, and you had to like know somebody. And I remember it's kind of like a bartering system.
Yeah.
It was kind of like real, like telling you. And see, the only reason I think I even got included in this shit is because I was the person with the TV. I was the person with the device. And I had, you know, the dorm. I was in upperclassmen housing as a freshman. So, you know, you a crab, you ain't got no rights. So my dorm basically got confiscated.
Wow.
Because people like Marcus Neal, and y'all, I don't know if you know, I went to Morgan, but I went to Morgan, see, Blue old as fuck. So I'm not his age, but like Marcus Neal and those people, they would get tape master tapes, and then they would bring it on like a Friday after practice. We sit there and drink and watch tapes all night, like all night long. And and you know, it would have like a date on it. It was just like really, really raw. And then all of a sudden, YouTube come out, and then people are actually like making this something to do. Like you were talking about Jerome and Tyree, you talk like trying to really, I think it came from a pure place. Like, let's document what's happening. And now I feel like everybody in band media. So I'm gonna ask you this question. This is off the cuff. It's not even that. Do you think people know what the fuck they doing? Malik. It's anybody.
Negative. No. Never. Ever. No.
I agree. I mean, you know, Krystal, look here, you know, you say everybody, like I'm a part of that everybody that got into band late. Like people that I helped when I started. Garrett showed me everything. I was in school when I was on the first Human Drive media team. So I'm talking about, I didn't even learn. If you ever see me with one camera, I'm bullcrapping. I learned how to shoot with two cameras. So like my original setup is gonna be at least 2+. So like I started, I guess, like 13, 14-ish. Whenever Human Drive media started, that's when I started. But I graduated college in 16. I started Smashtime in the 17, 18. So I'm kind of like, it may not seem like it, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm one of the last to get in the game. So like, I still look at people like everybody who's been around, Gerard, Howard, Showtime, Web, Killer Kev. I still look at them like, dang, I watched all their footage growing up, you know what I'm saying? But it just, you know, so I can say that I'm a part of what the word, what you call this, the saturation guys that came along. If you ask me, because like, you know, everybody came, like Marvin, I joke with Marvin all the time. Marvin celebrated 10 years of his channel. Like, and I remember Marvin told me every day when we was in mass comm class, you should start a YouTube channel. I'm like, I ain't in no camera, no YouTube channel, and shit. Then graduate, and Marvin video, the Hello video went viral. So that's how I got started. So I'm a part of the last bloomer. So the new guys on the block. Everybody pretty much older than me. Well, I guess if you older than me, there's a lot of people who've been in the game longer than me. That's what I'm just saying. I'm a part of the new wave of people. I guess from the start of the new wave of people. I guess.
Yeah, I think the market could be dealing with some saturation, but there's still it's enough band for everybody to shoot, I would say. And I don't mean like the amount of bands. Let's just say Justin, Kevin, Tyree, and Malik and David are all at the same game. Everybody don't shoot the bands the same way. I like what Justin brings action to his shots. That's what he does. When you look at Justin's shots, he brings action to his shots. When you look at Kevin, he's giving you smooth, fluid shots and everything that he's doing. Because when I watch my friends, I study them at the same time to see what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna lie to you. But YouTube University has turned me into a better camera person than I thought I was. Learning how to pan, learning how to when you're trucking, you have to understand these terms, and that'll help you turn into a better shooter. So when you're on the field, our goal is to take this culture that we love and to present it to the world as something that is beyond extraordinary. We are the superheroes of high school football. Who are they? I want to show the band just like I remember the band being when I was in the band. But I said that to say this. Everybody don't shoot the same way. Everybody has different microphones, and some people are listening for different things. Some people want to create a studio sound when they're recording their band because that's what they want. But you have a person like me who's a band head that wants to feel what it felt like to hear that band at the game that day. So, I mean, the market is oversaturated, but it's still enough band to be shot by everybody.
To piggyback off that, I'm gonna say the exact same thing he says. Enough band to be shot versus everybody. My first college game was Miles College versus Alcorn, 17. That's when I decided to go on the limit, go to college game. And I realized that season I was at a game with Showtime Web, Killer Kev, all the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? the views I got on my videos when I got home, I should have stayed in my butt home. You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to a game that ain't nobody going to. You know what I'm saying? That's in a high school, killed the high school market. I'm in New Orleans, it's bands everywhere. You know what I'm saying? High school market, and then I started going like the Miles game. That's down Miles, where I started going Miles that whole season. Turning Miles up, going to Albany State games that nobody's not going to. And people, that's when the big dogs start asking me, "Why you don't come to our games?" You know what I'm saying? Like, man, they got the big dogs over, so just creating your own lane and just they lost. So I guess I'm saying they have so many bands out here. You know what I'm saying? Now, Boombox, how many people you gonna see in the horseshoe? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell everybody not to go to Boombox. You know what I'm saying? Can't tell everybody not to go to Magic City when they got Lane versus Kentucky State playing. You know what I'm saying? Who wanted to go to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not saturated. It's just so much more room for exposure. You know what I'm saying? That can happen with these bands. But people not willing to take a chance of going out on a limit and go get the games that nobody want to see. And I understand that they're not as lit as Boombox. You know, I understand. But sometimes you won't make yourself stand out or either get a fan base, you know what I'm saying, or you got to do what nobody else ain't doing. That's the first thing I learned going. You got to think about it. I was on Human Jukebox Media. You know how hard it was for me to leave Human Jukebox Media to start my own? Like, I went Southern every week. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. So that's what I said, piggyback off what Jerome said.
And to piggyback off of what you just said, I don't think it's saturated, but to offer a different perspective. When I did the USC Clemson game, I caught so much backlash for that because you're an HBCU videographer. You have to record your own bands. You have to record the people. That's what the culture is all about. Who said that? And that's one of the
A
things
dumbass.
that I dislike. You don't have to put yourself in a box. You really don't. Like what Smashtime presents, like when he first started doing high schools, because I was actually watching that because that was my research. I want to do events. I need New Orleans schools. I need to see these New Orleans bands. He was my research for that. When Malik was doing his thing, way before he, took a break, I need to see these Atlanta bands. I live in Augusta, Georgia. We have an office in Atlanta. I try to make it up there as much as I can, but I'm from Augusta, Georgia. It's my job to represent Augusta bands. I need to put them out there. So to say that, I don't think that is saturated. I think that and it happens to the best of us. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. If there's a Boombox Classic, I know from my experience, Killer Kev is going to be there. Smashtime is going to be there. Malik may be there. Tyree may be there. I know that because one, location. It makes much more sense for me to watch them. Justin may be 3 hours away or 2 hours away. I'm a whole 10 hours away. I'm not going to go to that. So while that's happening,
being the way it is, not the way
exactly.
No.
And I mean the way, like, if there's a Boombox Classic, I know we're gonna get. This is my thing. We're gonna get awesome footage from either one of these guys that's on this panel, from either one of these guys that's not on this panel. We're gonna get awesome footage. But are you gonna see Benedict versus Kentucky State? Is anybody gonna go to South Carolina State versus Hampton? Who's going to cover Texas College versus Langston?
You about to bring up another pet peeve of mine. Number next. I'll let you finish. Pet peeve.
Yeah. Oh no. Go ahead.
So when we talk about saturated markets, I think about. See, the hood is about to come all the way out. Okay, so I think about people selling weed. If you always on the same corner and everybody is on that same corner, then the demand is not. You can't get the same amount of views eventually because everybody knows that they could get it from anywhere. And then the quality of the product, they start to kind of not care either because it's access. It's like it's quick. I can get it. But I always look at people who are starting out like, why are you trying to go record this school that's got their own media team, so that was my pet peeve. Like, they got their own media team. You mad they won't let you into their market? Like, that's their corner. See, I told you the hood was coming out. Go find your own. I can
expand on that.
Like, find your own corner. And on top of that, people come from schools and you don't even record your own school. Like that. That's a red flag for me. Yeah, I told you it's off the cuff, Justin. You already knew where I was going. Like, go record your own fucking school. Like, where's your
satisfied?
No, it ain't. No, because if this whole culture is supposed to be us getting people to know what it is that we do. Like, everybody on the screen has done it, has been involved with it. So to the point where it affects you that you want to be involved with it in your adulthood, even after you quote unquote hang up your spats. And me as a band director, but me not even as a band director anymore, just as somebody like, the white school down the street gonna get theirs. Like, we always talk about, oh, we do this for the kids and stuff. And I'm like, but you recording schools that already got theirs, so to speak. Like, they
automatically off the top.
And it just doesn't even make good business sense. Back to, the corner talk. It's not even good business sense. Like, sometimes making your name is doing something different. This is different. There are no women doing podcasts around band. I saw a market. I said, nobody's doing it. I could do it. I'm a band head too. Tired of people thinking that I was the dancer. Like, no, fuck, I ain't no dancer. I can barely do a split. Shit.
Right. And here's a little. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
No, go ahead.
Here's a little advice. And because right now BandHead Network is more about projects that are not marching band than marching band stuff. So that's what puts the money in the pocket. So, but this is what I would recommend to anybody that's trying to start their own media thing. Visit your local high school. Talk to the high school band director. Say, my name is such and such, and I want to start recording band. You go talk to the high school band director. He will let you record his band at football games. Yes, because he wants those kids to be exposed. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I told the band director, I'm gonna come start featuring your high school, but I need your band to follow me on YouTube. You already got subscribers off the top.
That's smart.
That's one of the marketing tips for step 1, 2, and 3. Honestly,
you giving the secret away, Jerome.
Oh my! Look,
hey, Jerome,
yo, girl.
Hey, what's going on, people?
OG.
Now I gotta
I had to get you on here. I had to get you on here. There's too many tapes. There's too much footage that has come across my computer as a kid, just trying not to miss my line. Like looking at tapes, like, don't be like that, mom. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. We talking about the market is a saturated. Nothing much. We just getting warmed up. Now. It's full house. We here now. So just to recap, that type of marketing, like having the next generation buy into your shit, is important. And like you said, there's so many directors that don't have nobody, like people like me, people like Tyree. Tyree say he recording and trying to do, like, you trying to do both at the same time. It's too much work. It's too much work. And to be honest, for your program to grow, you have to have a social media presence. Like, that's just, you just have to. And that was something I used to bump heads with the co-director. Like, he didn't want the band to go anywhere until I kind of ended up the main person. People were like, why don't you go nowhere? I was like, my co-band director don't want to do nothing. And that was just, I was like, it's stupid, and nobody knew who the hell we were. And I was like, that's stupid. Nobody knows who we are because we don't, not to say like this, ain't nobody coming up to Baltimore. Not the way the news, be hitting us. So
for real,
the city state of Baltimore.
The city state, right?
I say that because, like, it's like that starting off, man. Like I would say it was intimidating, but it's like through the whole game, you got these big dogs at this game. You know what I'm saying? Who the hell is Smashtime? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm shooting this game, I'm shooting my heart out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no fan base. So just going to schools that games that actually nobody's gonna go to. What's crazy about that is me also going to smaller schools, they definitely appreciate it more. You know what I'm saying? That's your new fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna say who should go to Kentucky State games, but like, I'm proud of that. Like, if you say ask me what my most proudest moment is, people know who Kentucky State is. You always gonna know who it is now. You know what I'm saying? But like, then every big battle badge coming up. And Mr. Level will tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess who we go to the game, but you know what I'm talking about? That's just a example, you know what I'm saying? And I got another I got another project I'm working on. I'm calling it Project, a school that don't have no exposure. Like, it's just you gotta swallow your pride, and you gotta swallow a lot to go to try something different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all for it. Go try something different.
So
yeah, I've been really limited. I know one of the I mean, because I'm in the market area for all of the big bands. Right. I can honestly say that. I'm 6 hours from Jackson. I'm 3.5 hours from Baton Rouge. Texas Southern is right at my doorstep. Prairie View is right over there. Grambling is 3 hours away. And one of the hindrances of me, I was like, I always wanted to go shoot other bands, but I'm a dad, 4 kids, mortgage, 2 car notes, stuff like that, kind of held you back with, budgets, things like that, but I'm grateful that, they're moving on and out of the house and stuff. And, I think I'm going to be on the road a lot more. So, yeah, it's a lot of schools out there that need to be introduced to the band world. Case in point, Trotwood, Ohio, Trotwood Madison High School. They are on fire. Everybody needs to keep an eye on them. Travis Bean is doing an awesome job over there, by the way. That's enough for me.
So I got a question, and Gerard, maybe you can answer this. Do you think there's a little bit of pushback from band directors when it comes to like band media? Is it like, I don't want you record my band because I can't control the narrative, which is why I'm a fan of, see if you can find somebody who's willing to record it. Like I said, anybody, a student, because you still get to control your narrative. But do you think some of that pushback is coming from, I don't want you to put my band out there because we sound like poo?
Well, nowadays I think there is, because there's so many people covering bands these days. And what I mean by that is that you're more than likely these days to go in and get a lot of cell phone footage, etc. Not necessarily talking about, not talking about these cats here, but you're likely to, these days to get people who don't have relationships with band programs. And so when I started, the idea was, I guess people don't realize that there is a balance, and that the idea with covering bands is not, there's a balance between, representing for the band culture and also putting a positive light out there for band programs. So I give you a case in point. One time I went to the Magic City Classic. This was 2006. I just started doing a Marching Network at the time. And at that time, I was working on doing a television show. Marching Network was, an on-demand channel, and it was also, I call it like a reverse engineered television station, network, because you had on-demand content, and then you had stuff that aired on television. I went to a Magic City Classic. I think this was 2006, and filmed Alabama stage show. They were wearing masks, and basically, I don't know if it was the mask or the sunlight. It's like saying, I'm sure that practice they weren't wearing masks during practice, but they basically screwed up their line so bad that I couldn't even put it on the internet, because for me, it defeated the purpose. Like, it's this thing of, you're covering this for the band community, but also you have to recognize that there are people who know nothing about HBCU bands, who are looking at what it is that you're doing. And it serves no purpose to put out negative material on a band program. So another incident happened a couple of years ago at the Texas Southern game, the first time they played in Texas. It was a situation where sitting there filming a halftime show for Texas Southern, and this dancer, they were doing a
I knew you were gonna say
it. Basically, it was this thing, I'm like, okay, I got this footage, it's happening, it's tight. And at the very end of it, this dancer basically did this really bad flip and tumbled and danced on top of another dancer. And when I saw that, I said, man, this is scrapped right here. I need to figure out some kind of way to, if I'm going to post this, I'm going to have to cut this scene out, because there's a certain level of response. It's like, there's a certain level of responsibility to have. Yeah, that happens with that, because on one end, what people fail to realize is that when you put video out, this is forever. So you have to be very careful, one, about how these young ladies end up in this situation and how they deal with each other after this situation happens, and how it makes the university look. So there is a certain level of integrity that you have to have. And I think what happens is that, when you have so many people out there doing it, sometimes not everybody kind of has that same level of responsibility. And I think that, everybody here in this particular group, and definitely the cast that's not over here now, they know this. They know that, there's a certain level of responsibility that you have, with putting footage out. But saying all that to say that essentially, I think that the issues that happen when, people, even from a control of the narrative standpoint, there have been times when band directors have contacted me and said, hey, look, Gerard, can you take this down? No problem. Cool. Hey, look, we played this song. It wasn't really written the way it should have been. Do you mind removing this? The idea is not, there's a balance. There's a balance. there's a balance. I guess I just say that you have to really, kind of really be able to work within that balance.
I would say I had a situation like that too, Jerome. 2 Mardi Gras ago, one of the girls from Talladega, it went viral. Like she slipped on the bead. When I talking about caught airtime, I had the best shot of her because I was like literally in the front. She was so high in the air when she slipped, like I didn't see anything. She was like above my camera and came down. So when I got home, I edited it out. Like I edited, shot some B-roll, something simple, and edited it out. And everybody like, man, what Smash? I want a video of her phone. And I'm like, if that was your sister, would you want somebody to post that? You know what I'm saying? On top of the integrity of the band, I'm like, that's one of my rules. I'm glad. Shout out to Gary. Working with a college band's media team, you're supposed to put this band in the best light possible. And I took everything I learned from them, and I do it. Somebody fall, I know how to edit it out. I'm not gonna waste no footage. I don't know how to edit it out. I just know how to make it look better. But I'm not gonna ruin the relationship of these college band directors, because without the band, you have no. I don't want the band director saying, "Oh, I don't want him at the game because he put our band in the best light." I'm glad I did that because no band directors they hit me up now. You know what I'm saying? I like, I'm on a first name speaking basis with a lot of them because I put out great work that highlights the band. Now, of course, I'm just gonna be lit sometime, a little ratchet, but that's my style. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you need to put these bands in the best light because you never know who's watching it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, even if that's sometimes sending a clip to a band director and asking them, "Is it okay?" Because it ain't all about putting the clip on.
I've had those situations too. You have to.
So I wonder, like, it just sounds like, when you got freelance people who are kind of maybe wet behind the ears and they just trying to get views. They don't care what they putting out there. They don't care how bad it sounds. They don't care how bad that group sound. And it is like a relationship. I want to trust that the person that's recording my group is thinking about, all of the things that I'm thinking about. Like, are they thinking about, we always talk about we try and keep the culture alive. Are we keeping the culture alive because you got this moment where her wig fell off? Like, just being real. And we know bloopers happening, like when it comes to drilling, it is what it is. Like, if you miss that line, you miss that line, and it is what it is. But
I also kind of think like they are also in a learning process as well, because this isn't a job where you can literally write a manual. Hey, this is how you do this. This is what you're looking for. This is the kind of feeling and angle you want to acquire. They're kind of in a learning process. Now, you would think that, like, if there's a wardrobe malfunctioning happening, like, me personally, I never see it happen because I'm so always behind the lens. I only see things when I review the footage. And I'm pretty sure everybody here can attest to that. When they say, "Oh, did you see so and so happen?" Like, "Oh, did you see so and so fail?" No, I don't know what you're talking about until we review the footage. And of course, we make corrections at that.
If you're in the rush to put it up first, sometimes you don't review it.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, is it like, I can imagine sometimes people just trying to beat somebody to the punch with footage.
But see, this is my argument towards that. If you're going to really beat somebody to the punch, then you're automatically doing a live stream, because there's really no physical way at this point, at least from my perspective, I haven't found one. And I like to consider myself a pretty tech savvy guy. There's no way to really edit out things on the go while they're happening live. So with that, with a live stream, I feel like a live stream should come with disclaimers. That's why every time we do one, we're telling you, you're gonna see me put the camera down. You're gonna see me changing mics. You're gonna see me in my bag. The camera's gonna be on the floor for a long time. It's a live stream. This is live. This is happening live. This isn't that TV media ESPN kind of live stream. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone's goal is to acquire that, but we got to break a few eggs, a whole lot of eggs, before we make an omelet that size.
The only exception I give when you like Chris about the trying to control the narrative, if it's like in the fifth quarter and like somebody like overblow or like somebody play out of tune. I hope you're not expecting the videographers to try to repaint the story of what happened or edit that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, those don't count. Like somebody messing up or like coming in too early. That's stuff that you just can't. That's the only one I say get an exception that we gotta. I say gotta post because that's what happened in that battle. Most times in a battle, but like a wardrobe malfunction, I can still give you this audio and give you a black screen. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you until I fix it or whatever. That's the one that don't count. But like you said, everybody on this panel pretty much tech savvy and been in the game long enough to be upholding the value of these bands and putting them in the best light.
Yeah, so just like great question, right, Justin? Go ahead, Gerard. After you talk, I'm gonna give you.
I was about to say, just like Justin said, basically, there's some rules of engagement. Like this happened, so it happened. Like whatever happened in the fifth, it happened. Or if you're doing something, real time, it just happened. Even when it comes down to somebody messing up on a field show, the Alabama State thing that I mentioned was an exception just because it was beyond the point of this don't even make no sense no more. But whatever it is, it happened. It's like saying, like you said, fifth quarter, whatever else, this is a testament of what was happening during this time. Somebody slipping and almost killing somebody or whatever else, use your best judgment. It's like use your best judgment on that.
Most people that get that discretion from me are high schools. And if the high school sounds bad to me, I'm gonna send it to the band director. Hey, are you okay with this? Some band directors are like, well, these kids are arrogant and maybe they need to see that they don't sound as good as they think they do. I've gotten that once or twice. And the band really did turn themselves around. So maybe that was helpful for them. But, I leave that up to the high school band director. It's rare that you have situations like that in college. Like it has to be extreme, like in garage. Something like that happens, then I want to start universities. And
you done started breaking up. Speaking of band,
I didn't hear a word he said.
Yeah, you went straight to the McDonald's drive-through sound.
But she ain't working right now. But go to Wendy's.
I was trying to order McFlurry because that machine always down. So high school, you still breaking up. You might have to pop in, pop back out. As a director, high school, I appreciate that from people. Like it's rough out here. Like people like, man, will they band sound like poo? Like if you got kids who just started, like especially you talking post-COVID, depending on where you live, that band might not have been playing for 2 years. And it is what it is. And people like, well, don't put them out there. Nah, we got principles to appease sometimes. We got people who sign our checks like, if I don't see the band, I'm gonna go find somebody else to do this. And it's a tough job all around. I appreciate that integrity. That leads me to this question. And this is one of them viewer's choice questions. Band footage, raw or no? What I mean by raw, I mean unedited. Me and Justin had a talk like an hour about layering audio. I'm not saying that I know how to do it well, but I definitely know how to mess with a wavelength or two. I definitely understand, just being a church musician. I was a church musician for a long time. And, when you make a stem and we would get part of the choir to sing and record that and then layer it and layer it and layer it until it ain't really how the ensemble sounds anymore. It's kind of like this most polished.
It depends. I'm sorry to cut you off. And I say it depends.
I want to know the answer.
It depends because a few of us know of this. There's a certain band that does this. all the time, every time.
Who that?
We have recorded this band at big time events where they sound like kind of, I don't want to say trash, but we know that ain't what they supposed to sound like. But then when you see the clip, it sounds immaculate. It sounds so beautiful. But then when we put out our own footage, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I say that to say it depends. And it's going back to that question of the question of band media. If you're the school's media team, in my opinion, your job is to put the best performance, the best footage, the best of everything out there. Point blank, period. You make the school look good. However, independent people should be there as well, because you need to offer the option of them being able to see a different side. So, going back to your question, it depends on what the situation is. At least from my take.
And I get that. Like, I think about, date myself, like if a band was putting out a CD, remember people, like I remember getting like Norfolk CD and some other folk CD.
I had a VSU DVD.
Yeah, I had some of those things. They probably somewhere like packed all the way away somewhere. I expected to hear it like really studio polished. Like that was my expectation. Like I went because you bought it kind of in a commercial sense. But when I listen to band media, like I'm still, and I think Jerome said it best, like I'm looking for how it kind of feels being live. Not saying that you'll ever get that full moment. Jerome, don't do that. He's like, he's asleep. I'm looking for it to have a live feel. I want, there's a certain emotion that is attached to a live sound or as close as possible. And so when you start like shaving feet, I'm gonna kid you not. I still have to find this footage. Me and my husband is really techie. He works for Shark, like he's techie. I'm like techie, and then he's like techie plus. We took some footage, audio, and put it in Sony Soundforge to put it in B flat. I'm just gonna say, and all of a sudden, messed with it a little bit, was like kind of like a whole different band. I got a friend that has taken some footage and like took a couple different clips from other places and put it and layered it right. And it sounded like 300 people knowing the band only got like 60. And so it's like when we're talking about the integrity behind it, and you talk about the freelance, like the oversaturation of freelance, like everybody, you can do a lot of editing from an iPhone. Like it's amazing to me how much editing you could do with just the devices you hold in your hand. I wonder sometimes, are people really getting what they want? Like, is it kind of like the consumer's fault? Like the consumer wants everything to be perfect now because there is band media and we're just producing because the consumer said this is what we want. We don't want bad sounding footage. But at the same time, you're like, I want to hear a band. That's me.
Can I touch it for a second?
Yep.
I'm gonna say when it comes to editing audio, and I like saying this because I'm a band fan, band head. So all us may record with different stuff. I like the way Gerard Howard video sound. Gerard, I like your work, Doc. Like you are like, I don't know what you be doing.
Thank you.
I just said next year 1,000 games. Like how can you get this to work like this? You know what I'm saying?
It's the headphones. It's the headphones.
And make it work, So like, and that just because I love Gerard's sound, that don't mean I don't like Kev's sound or somebody else's sound. When you say editing audio, technically, once you shooting with external audio and replacing it with the audio on the video, you edited audio technically. So when I hear the band here talk about they're editing the audio, if you just know somebody who knows what they're doing, technically we are editing audio. I just put it like this. This is my version of what I heard at the event. Somebody else's version might be
Yeah.
different. I know, like for
Exactly.
Miles versus A&M game, I kind of gave a little tip, not a tip away. Still Smoking is the song. My H4n came out one way, but the audio that I got on my camera came out so good. I say, you know what? I'm gonna call this that Smashtime Raw. You know what I'm saying? So I post the same video with two different sounds, and people talk about it to this day, like which one they think sound better, whatever. But I don't know. So you'll never win that argument with people. Besides, like, you know, I guess schools that use those fancy audio recording, and I know the school y'all talking about. That's funny because it's funny, but you know what I'm saying? If that's what they want to do, like, you know what I'm saying, I should let them do it. We know
They should do it.
That's everybody have their own depiction of it. I can't draw the picture like you.
And the kind of comment on that, I would say that we're living in a different age, audio wise. Back in the day, you know, when I first started, you know, many folks said I had a tape recorder. Tape recorder produces a different sound. You know, basically from tape recorder to camcorder, basically what you're looking at is that, you know, the audio devices that were used were basically, while it was a traditional sound that people were used to, it was a sound that was available for the time. In 2014, once folks started switching to 2014, and David, you probably tell me for sure, when your homeboy started using the Zoom recorders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? You know, basically that changed the game. Like once that started, you're not going to be able to get the same sound that you got before. You know, you're not going to get that same sound. Every now and then, I go watch some old videos of this cat. You can call some old Southern stuff. His channel is Urban Williams. I like to go watch his stuff sometimes because it's old, raw sounding stuff. But basically, it sounds raw because he's not using an external recorder. You know, but the thing of it is that I don't think anybody is going back to not using. You know, nobody's going to go back to not using external recorder just because somebody got some real good raw footage. I mean, it's one of those things to where even for the band that y'all talking about, they're using high quality recording equipment. They're using high quality microphones. You're going to get a different sound. You're going to get a different sound other than what everybody's getting.
Yep.
You know, so sound wise is really going to vary based on the equipment that people are using. The more advanced equipment people use, the better the stuff is going to sound.
I was just about to say that. Do I sound better now, by the way?
Yes. Speaking of Sam.
Good. I was just about to say that because, like, somebody may use a Zoom Q2N, and I'm going to use a different type of Zoom. Those microphones have different type of sensitivities on them. And then I may have a Zoom microphone that I'm using where I can adjust the levels right there in the middle of recording just to make things sound better. So, I mean, to say that somebody's changing stuff, they may not be using the same type of microphone that I'm using, to be honest with you. That's why at times, like if I know I'm recording a band, sometimes I bring like 2 or 3 different kind of microphones just to see which one sounds the best when you're recording. You know, sometimes it has to be that way, just like what Justin did with the raw footage. You know, one microphone may get something better. People think that because the camera's right there in the face, that that's the sound that they're supposed to be getting. No, you're not going to get that sound, because if you got that sound, you would not be happy with what you heard.
Yeah,
I guarantee
had that
you.
conversation.
One thing. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I click and Final Cut Pro, turn that camera off. No, thank you. Can't use that. Yeah, but it's like that. And so, I mean, I laugh at people's ignorance when it comes to that. And sometimes people let school pride get in the way with a lot of stuff that they're saying in regards to that. I understand the stuff that they're talking about. Yeah, it's just like when you're recording the choir. You know, you're going to have a microphone on the altos, a microphone on the tenors, and a microphone on the sopranos, and the microphones on the bass. So now when you record all those, maybe you can bring the sopranos up a little bit because they were slipping. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, is that editing the footage? It may be, but it's literally putting your school's best foot forward, because new recruits don't want to see the band messing up. You know, I'm not going to go to that school.
That's back to that. You got a school. You need a media team. Like that that conversation is needed so people who think that they're gonna stop, you're not gonna stop people from recording your ensemble.
If with that, I was a rapper before I started this camera stuff. Pro Tools is my thing. Sound is that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? If I let y'all listen to some of the audio that I like listening to after I put my spin on it, y'all be like, no, that's cheating. That's cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like I like listening to a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So like I would never put that out, but like it just everybody. Like I said, once you replace the camera audio with your H4n, you going out technicality. Technically, you edited the audio.
It's edited.
People do what they want to do. So yeah.
I like the
Derek,
comments when they say you're trying to make this band sound louder and the other band sound quieter.
So they know you're
Like I
to
have that much time or that much interest in either band to realistically do that.
Too much
Come
time.
on, bro.
so I'm gonna agree with you. Like my principal during the pandemic just knew that we was gonna do a virtual performance. You know, that shit is like that was the bane of most directors' existence because they don't know what the hell goes into all of that. Like I had a principal, you know, one of my admin come into a Zoom was like, why aren't the kids playing all together? I was like, you don't know shit. Like it never fucking worked. And so I had to put out something. I had to put out a virtual project. Man, just to get kids to understand how to record. Like they got different technology at home. They got different microphones. Somebody on a Chromebook, you know that shit. And then somebody else record from their iPhone. Okay, we might get a little something out of that. And ultimately, like I had to tell other kids who had better equipment to record multiple parts. That's editing. Like that's altering. Like I couldn't use homegirl that's in the basement of our house with a dog barking the entire time. Like I can't sit there and try to edit some stuff out like that. And I'm not even good at it, but I was able to put out something and they was like, oh, that was good. I was like, no, you don't know how many fucking hours it takes. And I was talking like, I think it was maybe about 10 kids. I was just trying to get something to get them off my back. That's clock hours on clock hours to do that type of editing. And I know I was thinking about asking y'all as far as like monetizing, you know, your brand. I don't think people understand it's not a lot of money, not as much money as people think. Like once you add equipment costs,
please say it louder for the old directors in the back that can't hear you. Please say a little bit louder.
I'm gonna ask the question about people charging because they making money off these bands. I was like, not by the time you get if it's local, especially with gas being like $75 a gallon now. Like by the time you get in your car, by the time you get your equipment together, by the time you get into the game, that's assuming that your press pass is free. Assuming big assumption that you're getting into all these games free. Because that's controlled often by the university, unless you got a relationship with the band directors or the band staff or the athletic directors, you might not be getting there free. By the time it just doesn't even make rational sense to me to think that you make a lot of money off of this.
No,
How many guys still got a day job outside of this? Like,
I've been told by somebody I met, you know, he's a subscriber. He said, yeah, I'm willing to do this, man. Can you hire me? I heard y'all make about 5,000 per game. And I said, 5,000 per game. Like, what do you mean?
I wish.
And this was at the game in Mobile with A&M, Talladega, and Central State. And he was like, yeah, y'all make 5,000 a game. I'm so lost. What are you talking about, Playboy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
ignorance is bliss.
I heard it too. Listen, if I had to substitute the amount of money it costs for me to go to a game and film a game versus how much I make out on YouTube, I do better just not going. You know what I'm saying? And like was gonna talk on the other live, you know what I'm saying? And that's coming. We can act like it's not gonna happen. It's gonna come a time where, like, you know, it's happening now. I just talked to Carol yesterday. Like what the charging and, like, you know, the videographers are making a killing off the game. You know what I'm saying? It's so much. After we break it down and show you how much BS it is and how much, like, you know, I really can go in depth on this because it's hot by itself. But listen, I'm gonna say, so after we break that down to you, and then you count in the hours that, like, it takes to get this stuff right. Like I said, my game, Gary, you know, if it past 3 hours, I'm not driving. I'm not driving to a game that past 3 hours. I get a rental car everywhere I go. My rental car, I get an SUV. I'm a big guy. You know what I'm saying? Minimum 400. My hotels, that's 300. That's 700 right there. We ain't talking about my flight. Like, are we? That's just me. I speak for myself on it. You guys, Mr. LA, Kentucky State. I wish I would drive to Kentucky State game. I'm flying there, you know, every time. So from New Orleans, that's traveling across the world every time. So I think that sometimes, like, you know, either band directors that who say this, you don't know, because I broke it down to a few of my college band director friends. Like, you can try to run the videographers off if y'all think that may be a thing, or, like, you know, but I ain't gonna say in the end you gonna see, but, like, bro, with Gary them doing that Southern, that ain't easy. How many people on your staff, Gary?
8.
God damn.
So you're gonna run somebody off, because you think they're making money for putting your band in the best light when they at least keeping you in the game. You know what I'm saying? Cameras ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I speak for everybody when I say that. Like, we feel that, because I haven't even got approached with that yet. You know what I'm saying? But I know I kind of spoke up, you know, for my partner Marvin when some stuff was happening to him. And I just feel it because we all in this, not saying together, but we cameramen. So one person going through something, I could feel it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can be me. But, like, I always say this, I only go where I want. You know what I'm saying? If I ever get the edge to feel like I gotta sneak and record here, or, like, you know, like somebody don't want me here, I don't even want to be there. I don't know. I speak for myself, I speak for y'all. But it's coming to time, and we're gonna have to open that discussion more probably with all the HBCU band media. But like I say, I go where I want, and now that I know my work, what I bring to the table, yeah, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I like high school anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Y'all can take it, but I just know it's coming. We can act like it ain't coming, but that thing the topic is coming, and I think that we need to break it down to whoever needs to be broke down to see how.
Let me go ahead and say this. And one thing I've been looking at is that we need to change the focus of this. So, as opposed to, you see what I'm saying, worrying about how much money videographers are making, you know, I've been thinking about trying to do a series on how to show band programs, middle school, high school, college, how to basically utilize the internet to make money with your programs. Basically, you all stand the opportunity to make, there's way more opportunity available for you all to make money off of subscribers via YouTube than it is any of us, because you all run the programs. So there are opportunities for you all to create private, say for instance, YouTube has subscribers. There's opportunity to create content for subscribers. You all can create content for subscribers that none of us can make. Basically, we see the bands on the weekends. Some people might, basically, let's say by and large, most people are seeing programs fresh on the weekend. Somebody who's inside the program sees them at practice every day. They get a chance to interact with the dancers, they get a chance to interact with the sections. There's opportunity to create, because this thing of it is, it's like, I want programs, and I'm sure that, all of us want HBCU band programs to thrive. We all understand that basically programs aren't really making money, but there are opportunities to do so. We don't have to get into this whole, like, think about it. Nobody looks at the newspaper and goes, the newspaper is covering, they got a dedicated section covering sports, while the newspaper ain't giving us no money. But they do it for bands. But what I'm getting at is that we need to start looking at how to show, showing programs what they can do beyond, what they think videographers are doing. There are opportunities here. There are all kind of, there are all kind of opportunities that, individual programs have, even your program, Krystal. The thing of it is that people want to give to your program. I'm saying you have to find a way, but programs just have to find a way to basically put out content. Get a subscriber base. You could turn around and get, say, if you got 100 subscribers, 100 subscribers, they gave you $10 a month. All right, at some point, 1,000 subscribers, they gave you $10,000. Give you, $10 a month for your program. I mean, those are the types of opportunities that band programs have.
And those are the type of conversations that need to be had. Not to cut
so that way, so that way y'all go, oh man, you're making money. No, look, let's show you how to make more money than what you think that we make it, because you all have that opportunity.
I think when it comes to
that's a membership program or
subscription. I think when it comes to, it depends on the level. Like when you talk about high school, all of that is really not so much always up to the director as much as it's up to the powers that be. I mean, you can be in one school district. Like I had a principal that didn't want me to have fundraisers because she thought it made the band look poor, but wouldn't give no budget either. So it was like, we'll fight tooth and nail. Or like some districts, they got a cap on how many donations you get. And if you, like, for instance, my cap is $250 from one person or one donation. And after that, I have to refuse it, or it has to be items and services. Like maybe you donate instruments. But when it comes to dollars, like sometimes they're capped. And I think sometimes the pushback from directors is because they don't have the freedom to monetize. Not to say it like this, look what happened to, some directors we know that went down for trying to, monetize their program or to try to make sure that all the bases were covered. It get real ugly. I think teaching
is a horrible gray area too.
Yeah, it's a horrible gray area to exist in, just speaking personally. But I think looking at BandMedia as the reason why you're not getting what you need is kind of like that's like blaming it in the wrong. You're just blaming it on the wrong thing at that point.
When I heard it, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I like to take steps forward, because I said it ain't happened to me yet, but like it just raised the question and said, basically, is BandMedia appreciated? And then especially you trying to shun them off of what you think that they doing. Like Gerard said, they helping you more than hurt you.
Thank you, Justin, for asking the question I was about to read. Okay, I shouldn't have sent you the questions first. Justin, like, I'm gonna read these.
I didn't even read them because I gotta say this. Like, I think so much as we looking at, they make this, they make that, and they don't even know what it is they make. Let's not talk about like me. I'm very personal with my brand. You know what I'm saying? From high school to start my own battle bands, this, that, and the third. How many kids of this videographer that you're trying to charge, you trying to shun, or you trying to stop? How many kids watch his videos of your program and desire to go to your school because of what he put out? You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
We hurting you more than we helping you. I thought that, like, you know what I'm saying, we the biggest ambassadors besides. Bro, come on, man. You could give every band a media channel. It's something that Gerard Howard does. It's something that my guy Ty does. It's something that BandTube does, that his fans and his followers watch him because he do that. You know what I'm saying? I see bands starting media teams, and like, okay, you got this media team and y'all don't even have to views somebody else getting. You know what I'm saying? You don't think it's not the videographer, it may be the person as well, the person behind the camera, the love that somebody have for the channel. But you good, Krystal. It just, I don't know, it just don't make sense to me at all. No.
Yeah. I mean, but people always complain about what they don't know.
And it's ignorance and jealousy. It's blind ignorance and it's blind jealousy. Because I'm pretty sure everybody here is more than willing to answer your question that you have to ask. Hey man, how you doing this? Or what happens if you do this? Or how do I start this? I'm pretty sure everybody here will answer your question. However, instead of doing that, yeah, I don't want them showing up to our games because this, that, and the third, that doesn't make any sense to anybody. Yeah, they need to, but we're going to show up anyway, because as independent people, we may not be here for your band. We're here for the other man, and you just so happen to be there. At least that's how I look at it most of the times. If you don't want, at least from my perspective, if you don't want us there, that's fine. We won't be there for you. We're there for them. You're just here. You're a visitor for this. And we're going to do our best to make them look good. But also, we're going to do our due diligence and make y'all look good, even if you don't want us there. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather you shoot yourself in the foot than get mad at me or somebody. I get an email, hey, we need authorization to use this. No, you can't. No. Your director of band said he doesn't want this footage authorized, blah, 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 blah. You need to take this up with him. What's the point? Why do we have to go through all of this?
I mean, ignorance is bliss, David.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
I want to hear what Gary got to say.
Yeah, I want to hear what. Yeah, Garrett keep popping in and out. Like, where's Waldo? I was like, uh-oh.
Mr. Indy.
Yeah, it's mansion right now.
And Jared was gonna say something too.
Okay.
No. I was just kind of going back and reiterating that basically we have to change the narrative. And basically, it's like change the narrative. Let's show people how to, let me show you how to make more money than what you think that I'm making. How to utilize. I mean, 'cause at the end of the day, it can help everybody's program. If everybody knew how to utilize YouTube and do beyond what people, like you say, independent people have the ability to do, you can make way more money than what you think, that I'm making. And you can help to build your program and solve problems that, solve the issues that happen. Because basically, what happens is that, programs are going, well, look, we're not getting budgets for this, X, Y, Z. Somebody trying to make money. Let's just show you how to go ahead and let's show you how to utilize this to the fullest.
What you got to say, Garrett? You've been popping in and out.
What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up?
What's happening, man?
Man,
it's a fresh hat you got on. That's all.
Hey. I want to go back, y'all. This is tough. A few bad apples have ruined the bunch. I'm gonna say that just me and Gerard had this conversation in the fall. A few bad apples have ruined the whole bunch. Hey, I'm the only one on here that's over a band media team. I see the other side of what y'all see, and I can tell you a few bad apples have ruined a bunch. Y'all know those people. Y'all know what people do. Y'all know them. I mean, it's just what it is. What at this point in time is, what can you do? What can you do? I get what Justin's saying. Everybody should talk to the band directors. This is not my band director talking. I think they got pushed over the hill already. And it's gone. It's gonna take, I don't even know what it's gonna take to pull them back into fray, but I think it's gone. And a few bad apples happen, and it just,
that's real though.
It rolled. It rolled.
Speaking from
well, my bad, Jerome.
No, but
You can't have situations where a chick, a dancer is doing something and somebody zoomed in on that area. You can't have stuff, a girl hair, her wig is pushed back right here, and you take a picture and it's out for the world. You can't have that in this day and age. You can't have stuff like that. But that's what's been going on with certain individuals. And that in turn, everybody sees independent people in that light. Mm-hmm. So some way, somehow that needs to flip. Somewhere, I don't know how, but it needs to flip.
So let me chime in, and I'm glad you said that because from the director, there's a few people who've been in the classroom on this that are now band media. From the director standpoint, my ultimate job is to protect my kids, like to protect them any means necessary. So if that means I can't let you in the gate, I can't let you in the gate. And I've had to walk that line very delicately and tell people that I respect and that I'm cool with. Like, I seen what you do, and for the sake of my job, no, because let me tell you, everybody blames the director. Like, when you go home with your equipment, when you go home and you go to another game, whatever get puts out there got my school name on it. And if that shit is ugly, the admin is on my ass. They're gonna be like, take it down. I'm like, I can't take it down. I didn't even record it. Why didn't you record it? Why'd you let them record it? It becomes so much bullshit when it comes to when things go wrong from a bad apple. And it's unfortunate. And so, like you're saying, Garrett, like some people, especially the old regime, they just like, no. They like, no, fool me once. And so
I also
like
want
I
to say
said,
to
I
your
had
point,
all girls, and I had to tell people, like, I seen you with the crotch shot. You can't have crotch shot of my girls because I'm going down for that. And it ain't nothing that you can do. It's nothing you can convince me. You can't tell me this is good for my program, because what's good for my program is me not getting fired.
I also, to piggyback on your point, I'll say from like the areas I work in, because I do a lot of rural areas in the Carolinas and in the Georgias, and areas that way back in the day they used to be predominantly white, but a few of us have moved in. A lot of them just don't know as well. And to Garrett's point, they don't know about those bad apples. And it's just because they have their own situations. Their budgets are hundreds of times smaller than all of our high school budgets. You know what I mean? There are directors who their whole year is to operate off of $2,000. What are they supposed to do? So, sometimes they don't know. But it is like you said, it's not making an excuse for it. I feel like a lot of directors don't know what to really look for or what to really ask for, or how to really approach it, especially if they're new in the field. And it's happened several times with me with new college graduates who just got this job. You haven't even taught a middle school yet. Now you're a high school band director. You're in for a ride. And it's unfortunate, but it's part of the learning experience. And it goes back to changing the culture.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, brother.
And I kind of want to bring it back to what Garrett was saying. It's bad apples out there, like just real talk. People that are rude, disrespectful, different things like that we have to deal with. I believe everybody. I mean, I've met just about everybody in person, except I don't think I've ever really met people we talked a few times before. But it's supposed to be some kind of camaraderie amongst us as videographers. And I remember one game that I really wanted to go to, and nobody was giving out passes for that game. And I talked to the opposing band. I'm like, hey, do you have a media team? If you have a media team, I'll come help out. Blase. They're like, no, we have our media team. Good. So I finally was able to talk to the band director of the home school. He put a pass in my hand, and then I was like, okay, cool. So I look up and I see the other school marching in, and I see somebody else coming in with a camera, like they're marching in with them, like they're part of that school's media team. They just disappeared into the crowd. I was like, I have to do all this to get a pass, and this person just slid right by me. Twice. It was two of them. But I mean, I didn't say anything. But it's just things like that. And then you go to these games, and then you act a fool, because you get checked. You act the fool because you're not where you're supposed. You're in a place that you're not supposed to be in. And what we all have to and all we have to understand is that these are football games, not band games. First of all, so there are rules that have to be followed, and people are not following the rules. And when you don't follow the rules, you cause a problem on all of the independent media teams. Like I've talked to too many of y'all around because too many people do too much crazy stuff.
Do y'all think, this is a question, do y'all think it's gonna be, things gonna be more regulated? Like, I just remember like when the whole change in the, I hate the MEAC rules. God, like I lived that span of time from where you can play to where you damn near shouldn't even be at the game anymore because you can't do shit. And I feel like it, but I watch reasons why it happened. And I watch people do the wrong thing over and over again. The ref says don't do this, and you big man, and you want to have a phallus swinging contest, and you trying to show somebody that you could do what you want to do, and then that's when they cut everybody's legs from under. And I feel like I hope that for you all and what you do that it doesn't get to a point where I feel like that was the clapback from directors saying, "Oh, we're gonna charge media teams." I think they were trying to regulate it in the best way they knew how, which was to try to quote unquote hit you in the pocket.
Gotcha. Let me say this too. The thing of it is that, well, my take is that I do think that band directors have to be discerning about allowing credentials. So say for instance, when you apply for credentials, you can either be approved or denied for credentials. That's really just the process, and that's really just the process, and you can be approved or denied, give or take for any reason. Like, and that's anybody, whether that NBC, CBS, the local newspaper, whomever else. It really comes down to whether or not there is availability for credentials, how many credentials you're asking for. That's how things typically work when you're going through the process of applying for credentials. I think that there's kind of like a certain unawareness of how that process works by band directors sometimes, and people say you have to, like, look, there's an event coming up in a couple of weeks that they're probably going to charge for credentials, whatever. I don't have a problem with supporting the event. Whatever, I'll pay for it if I need to. That's not really it's not really an issue. It's not what you're supposed to be doing. But if that's, it makes them feel better, and you get to support the event, you get to go in and cover the game, that's fine. In regards to what Garrett was saying before about things kind of really being over the edge, I think that there has to be like an advocate who kind of really sits back and explains to them what's going on. Back in the day, there was a situation back in 2005 at Jackson State where a videographer got into it with a police officer, and it turned into a really, really big news incident where everything really, really kind of got misconstrued. Dr. Liddell at the time was kind of going, well, they taking our stuff and putting it on they're taking the stuff and making band tapes and making money off of band tapes. And that got into the local newspaper. That got onto the local news. And they were talking about, people coming in and recording the band and selling band tapes. And it's like, look, Doc, look, I know these people. They're not making that much money selling band tapes. If you have a problem with this, holler at me. I'll contact these people and let them know whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'll let them know whatever the issue is. You have an issue with XYZ. Let me be the go-between, for that situation. Let me put you in contact with that person. So, because, nobody wants to step out. Most people, I guess it's like saying that unless you're talking about bad apples, nobody wants to step outside of, the bounds of anybody's programs, because everybody grew up watching these programs. And the band directors are all legends to us. Certainly back during that time, nobody, typically nobody wants to do anything that's going to hurt somebody else's program. saying all that to say that, I know many times, at Jackson State, when I would hear things, I had to be the advocate of whatever it is. Sometimes I heard something that was just kind of, it wasn't accurate. I'd have to always try to sit back and talk to Dr. Liddell and try to, dial him back down to, I say dial him back down, but basically explain to him, as opposed to letting it kind of run wild, explain to him, hey, look, blah, 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 blah. And hey, look, I got XYZ phone number. I can call him and talk to him. I can say, hey, look, you chill out with this or whatever else, whatever. So there has to kind of, it's, it comes down to me, it comes down to relationship building. And, like I said, you also, I think I would like to hope that the road can be mended on this. It's yeah, we need an advocate. I guess I'll say that.
To go
I think
off of,
tough,
my bad.
right?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You quicken to the draw.
To go off of Jerome's point, Jerome been saying it, I don't know how many times Jerome said it, but the SIDs are cracking down on media, period. Not just band media, period, at football games. So it's real, like, since COVID happened, like they don't want anybody around they don't want unnecessary people around these football teams. I know for the SWAC for sure that's how it is. So they just like, hey, no. All they get is no. And at that point, you can't help it. Just like Jerome been saying, it's a football game. This is not a battle of the bands. This is a football game. We do not have to be there if they choose for us not to be there. We've been doing this, but things change. And I know the SWAC is trying to move up in the world. If you go to a Big Ten, SEC games, they don't have band media. They don't.
I work for Maryland.
Check it out.
That narrative. I mean,
you are 100% correct about that. They do not.
But let me go ahead and jump in on that, though. For me, the interesting piece about all this is that, when I first started doing this, let's say technically I was on the media team for Jackson State. So basically, played in the band, got out the band, scholarship and all that stuff, and basically what I did, was, take pictures and all that stuff for the band and put them on the internet. While I was doing that, I noticed that there was no representation, from anybody in the band community covering Black college bands. So when I started blackcollegebands.com, the very reason I started blackcollegebands.com was because there was no representation from the band community doing it. So for me, there is like a certain, it's almost, and I understand that people crack it down, but there is almost, like, it's crazy to me to have somebody not accept you because you're covering bands when that space is not, like prior to, as far as I know, prior to my covering it, prior to my, doing this, I don't know if anybody else was applying for credentials to put stuff directly on the internet from a band standpoint. So it's kind of it hits me a little bit differently, I would say, just because that was the very reason, like, say, for instance, David mentioned the Celebration Bowl. And the Celebration Bowl was like, we don't, allow people covering band. I'm like, who is doing it? The idea behind it in the first place was the fact that you had people who covered sports, and the sports folks, at halftime, they covered the bands, after halftime, they covered the dances, but there were no band heads. There were no band heads on the field. Like, there was nobody. And I'm talking about folks like applying for credentials on the field for some sort of entity that covered bands. I don't remember, there was nobody doing that. And that was the very reason to do it, to have it in the first place. So, like I said, for me, it's a little bit different. You know, when I hear it and process it, it kind of feels a little bit different because I was there when, you know, like basically that was the very reason. The fact that nobody was covering it from our, you know, nobody was representing us. And so we had to represent us, you know,
Right.
so.
And I can
My crab
100% agree with him. I'm sorry, bro.
Okay, well, my crab brother's the SID at one of the SWAC schools. And just like these band directors talk, these SIDs talk. And he marched in the band, so he understands what we're trying to do. But he's telling me, hey, there are only so many media passes for band members now. And sometimes some of y'all are going to have to go directly through the band director to get those passes. Because we're going to give them to the band director, and he's going to determine who is recording his band. So, I mean, it's coming. And with the wave, y'all, there is a huge wave for HBCUs right now. There is a huge wave that is coming, y'all. And with that huge wave is going to come a lot of change. And people are going to have to learn how to conform, you know, and not raise so many hairs, because all they can say is, fuck it. No more media passes for bands. We got a media team. What the hell do we need them for? That's how these presidents are going to start thinking.
They're going to regulate it.
And see,
it just, you know,
that's one of the things that's one of the interesting things about this, at least from my perspective, because you're as a band media, I would hope that you have goals that are higher than this at this point, because, you know, we all do a fantastic job, but nobody really wants to be stuck in band media forever. Maybe you want to go to NBC, maybe you want to do CNN, maybe you want to, you know, maybe you want to do White House presidential coverage. Maybe you have a higher goal. And the way, at least the way we operate, we try to make our intentions clear, and we offer full transparency, because I want the SID to see what we do. I want you to see how we operate. You know, I want you to go talk to the director. And lately, at least from my experience, the last couple of years, you have to exclusively go through the band director to get media credentials. Now, true, sometimes, you know, I like to play the Wild Wild West every now and then and just pop up. But because I also have a relationship with the SID and the athletic director and the vice president of this and the president of this, they know who I am and they know what I'm about. Like, they're going to get awesome coverage. They're going to get great coverage. And to go back to Gerard's point, I feel him 100%. It is so different, because when I think about like how the Turkey Day Classic was, it's 28 degrees. No one else is here to cover this game except me. I'm out here with a camera, and I'm not worried about football. I'm covering the bands. We're all freezing together. And to hear that I need to go through this person for this, and to go through, I'd have to make it over here. And then if I go through this person, I'm going to be assessed a fee to record the band. What kind of nonsense is this? What are we talking about? What are you talking about, bro?
But David, I'm gonna tell you how I see all of this. I see it the same way I see it as being a band director. I see it the same way as, like, now I'm a clinician and I work for Music First. Music First is a big company when it comes to like music technology for education. Like, it's one of the biggest, and I've done stuff for smart music. As soon as I sign that contract, what I get to talk about and what I get to do is now under the auspices of this larger entity. So when you are they look at you like you're divergent, you rogue, you can do whatever you want. And no large corporation likes to deal with anybody like that, because when something goes wrong, there's no one to sue or blame. They can't hold nobody accountable. It has to do with accountability. It has to do with money. And so just kind of, as much as it hurts, if I wanted to make the next level dollars for what it is that I do, I had to sign with a big company or ride the wave like some of you have, where you made yourself big and now you know that you got to adjust. And I think that's what Jerome is saying. Like, I think that stuff that's like Garrison and even Gerard, as much as it started out one way, to think that it's going to unravel and go back to, like, people always talk about band back in the day. And I always tell people, it's like, band's never going back like that again. It's just not. And people are like, no. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's never going back, because there's too much money involved. There's too much risk involved. There's too much, the university or the school's name is involved. There's just too many people, too many players that stand to lose if one person mess up. And that's just how now you're going to find, like, if you didn't have a good relationship with a band director, you might want to start to mend some. I started to see some people start to mend broken fences, because you know it's coming. You know it's coming. And as much as I want to see, you know, you all thrive, because I want to see band thrive, I think if you don't adjust and you don't know how to navigate well, and you haven't learned some of these unwritten rules, they're not going to be unwritten anymore. They're going to be written down on a dotted line that you're going to have to sign, and you're going to have to adjust to that, especially when you start talking HBCU band. And I think, thank you, Jerome, for saying that. It's like the white people know we're here now. And because they know we're here, they know there's money in it. And you can look at an LSU and know, and all of that. You think that band media is unregulated with some of these Big Ten schools? I work for University of Maryland. I'm telling you right now, no. Like, they control.
I did the USC thing. They control everything. I had to get approval to post Clemson stuff. I had to get 2 approval processes with dates in advance. They control it. They control everything. It's not a joke.
You can't hit this joint like Chicken George, where you just gonna show up. You know, you're gonna bring
none of that.
Ain't on the list. They're gonna look at that list. You're not on that list, and there gonna be no last minute maneuvering or, you know, sliding in with the band and all that stuff that we do.
You will go to jail.
Yeah, they gonna, and even worse, they're gonna blackball you. They're gonna make sure that you never get a chance again to make that mistake, because it's too much money.
You know, Krystal, that day of regulation is already here. Like, I can't go to any schools in Alabama. I can't go to the own school that I marched at in Florida. I can't even record there. Like, the last time they let me down there was 2019. I filmed the FAMU Southern game. Now, like, the sports information director, I'm not allowed there. I'm not even allowed anywhere in the AUC, and that's right here at home. So it's like, if I want to go record the HBCU band, you know, Fort Valley is like the only school, like, you know, welcoming with open arms, but I can't go in South Carolina anywhere. So I think that day of regulation, I think we here. Well, for me it is, because like
anybody in it for real know it's here, and know it ain't going nowhere, and it may not get better before it get worse. And like I said, I want to see it thrive, but like, I'm speaking from a band director perspective. I was teaching at a school where it's the nation's oldest high school rivalry. Like, they have their game at the Raven Stadium. Like, it's like big. And I remember when they started regulating the time that the bands had on the field. And that comes from the athletic director. It's non-negotiable. And I remember the last year I worked for them before the pandemic. The last year I was band director. They said we had to have, our show couldn't be longer than 6.5 minutes. And I remember make that face. I remember uproar. Like I remember talking to the other band director opposing school, like what? This is ludicrous. And I remember like band parents and band staff like, no, we gonna push back on that. I said, no, we not. We gonna do a 6-minute show. They like, but they said they have 6.5 minutes. I said, no, we're gonna do a 6-minute show because they're gonna be looking at how we treat that 6.5. And they feel like they gotta force us off the field, for the football team to come back. Next year is going to be 6 minutes. And next year is gonna be 5.5. They're gonna keep pushing down till they say, no, you can't even touch the field because there's an NFL game tomorrow and we gotta be able to clear the stadium. You can't play after the game. Yep. You just adjust. It sucks. You adjust, but I learned how to write that hell of a 6.5-minute show.
We don't want you to touch our field. We have an NFL game tomorrow, or we have a league championship, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's so crazy how 6 minutes is now the current halftime standard.
And this was about 5 years ago when it first hit. So I said, everybody, and people would tell me, band directors, like, nah, man, F that. I'm going to do 12 minutes. And then the next year, they sending me an email, Krystal, they told us we only got 5 minutes. I was like, yeah.
I wish somebody, this is off topic, but I wish somebody on this panel marched at Bama State or Tuskegee during that game when Tuskegee thought it was a good idea to do their
It took too long,
show.
man. It took too long. It was our homecoming, and they said go ahead and do what we got to do. They should have got the fuck off the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Out the way.
Then nobody gets to play, like Jared said.
I remember that was on like the last months of the 5th. That was the whole time. That wouldn't have happened to Southern. That wouldn't have happened to A&M. It can only happen to Tuskegee.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, I forgot. Oh, senility. I kind of went right back to that footage. I was like, what the hell going on? Watching that video, I'm like, oh shit.
That was interesting. That was dope though.
Time is amongst us. So real talk, I had surgery Friday. So I'm sitting here like in a binder. Yeah, like I had surgery. Not real serious, but like the Percocets are wearing off. They wearing
Did you
off.
get the USB-C installed? Can we charge our phones through you?
David, I'm about to mute you, David.
But, so you didn't get it installed. Okay, so all right, cool.
We gotta pray for David.
I know we're getting close to the end, but I just want to say that I appreciate everybody that's on this panel. First of all, Garage, because like when he sees you, he's not intimidated by that being somebody new on the block. He talks to you. He's a good dude. He gave me some tips. Shout out to Marvin Price. I panicked a few times when I bought my first microphone, and he's like, "No, bro, do this. Pop, 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 pop." I'm like, oh, because I thought I wasn't gonna be able to record nothing. It's some good dudes on this panel. There's some good dudes that's out there, and I really want us to keep our integrity, for our bands and our integrity amongst each other. If there's an issue, talk it out, man. Like real talk, and I don't think we should jump into this social media phase that if something don't go our way, we get on social media and start crying to try to get the court of public opinion to
it's not the way to go. That is
that's not the way to go, because you're gonna always end up on your ass, like real talk. Settle it, talk it out. You know what I'm saying? It could be a misunderstanding. The Bible tells us in all to get an understanding. And so that's a mindset that I always try to take. So, I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all for what y'all do. I enjoy everybody's footage, and keep it up, fellas.
So I just want to add real quick. Oh, just real quick. Y'all know me. If y'all working around me, any equipment malfunction, y'all know I have the equipment, or I try to at least make sure I have the equipment. And, I want you to get the best footage possible. because I always enjoy everybody's footage. And especially nowadays where like I'm trying to push everybody's footage because I'm at this point where I don't want to think about my own brand. We are a collective unit that do the same thing. And we're damn good at it. Like, we're fucking amazing at it.
Everybody to eat.
Like, come on now. I got y'all covered on any equipment malfunction, and you know, I try to make it do what it do. I'm disappointed that Krystal doesn't have the USB-C installed, so you know, there's that.
Well, just so you know, I need that new DJI Mini 3 drone that just dropped. So, David, since you got our back like that,
now request.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, OG.
Got you covered, man. I'm gonna put in a request, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Are we starting a church prayer line for equipment? This is not.
I'm gonna talk to my supervisor, Garrett. You know, and we'll go from there. I can't promise.
Garrett drive a pickup truck. He ain't approving no budgets right now.
Garrett drive a dually with all goals.
The gas is straight up 80 and above. Yeah, I'm not.
A Dodge Ram 1500 my dad gave me in college, and gas was like $75 to fill up both tanks then. And then after college, I drove an Expedition because, you know, band directors got to have trucks. I drive a hybrid now. I'm flexing on this hybrid, daddy. I ain't driving nothing.
Yeah, I saw that picture. I put $107 in my tank. That's mid-grade.
$50 every 10 days. I could go off of $50. And I drive about 75 miles one way every day to work now. So enjoy y'all gas guzzling, environment killing cars. I am driving, and the coup de grace, my car play a chord because it's electric. I get to hear F major 7 everywhere I go. So I wanted to say to you all, one, thank you for coming on my show. Thank you for coming. Like, for real, I don't think we have enough dialogue between any level of the band culture when it comes to us. And that just allows people to divide and conquer. It allows people to say, you know, this is what they do, and they don't really have a clue. I know I experienced as a band director, so every month I'm going to be doing at least one off the cuff where, you know, some aspect I see of band culture that doesn't really get to talk their shit. They don't get to say what really is going on. With what it is they do. There's a lot of misconceptions. Some of it's true, some of it's not. And I think that truly helps the culture. Like, these internet gangsters and these thumb warriors, they don't really stop making that face, Drum. You know, internet gangsters, they'll paint a narrative if you don't. So at least I can.
Band directors.
Yeah. What in the world? So with that being said, I told you my Percocets, they gone now. They gone now. So and I don't smell no dinner. My husband ain't cooking. Yeah, I'm that wife. Like, what you cook? You ain't cooking, I'm working. So thank you for coming on the show. I'm gonna subscribe. If I'm not already subscribed to most of your channels, I'm pretty sure I am. You know, just stay in it and stay right so we can get this good footage and we can see this thing not die, and we can see people painting a picture of what it is that we do authentically. So much love to you, brothers. Even David, even though David is an asshole. But he's I got some frat up here. Shout out to anybody in the Fab Four. You know, we make the world go round even when we graduate. So thank you. Much love. Thank you for coming in. Diary of a Lady Band Director. Subscribe, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We pick topics that are relevant to the culture, and there's some dope Black women doing it. So holla at your girl. Peace.
Shout out to Garrett's Gold Grill that he only wear on the weekends.
Oh boy, this guy.
How y'all deal with David? I'm gonna pray for y'all. Y'all deal with him.
In spurts. Holla.